This is a straightforward video that looks at the different types of projects that we may encounter. It's based on the work of Locke, 2013, and in there he suggested that there are 4 types of projects. There's type 1 projects, which are civil engineering, construction, petrochemical, mining and quarrying. In other words, a lot of them are the extractive industries. They are the very fundamentals of the industrial framework in which construction takes place, petrochemicals, extracting minerals from mines and quarrying and so on. So these are mostly the extractive industries, although we have civil engineering included. But civil engineering is to deal with construction and is therefore classified under a type 1 project. Type 2 simply is manufacturing. Type 3 IT projects, projects associated with management and with business change. And finally, type 4 projects are scientific research projects. Now, in this short video we're going to look at each one of these in a little more detail and have a few more words about them, and that will complete our video. So we'll start with type 1 projects: civil engineering, construction, petrochemical, mining and quarrying. Industrial related projects, normally labour intensive and physical. Construction work and requires on-site completion. So generally speaking, quite labour intensive, but normally associated with the very fundamentals of the economic process, the extractive industries, getting the raw materials, getting the resources from the earth. These types of projects require large capital investments and longer completion time. Generally speaking, it is a much more capital intensive industry. The machinery required for let's say civil engineering projects tends to be very expensive and very complex, but based on heavy engineering, heavy lifting and routines which are very intensive of capital. So we can imagine cranes and moving equipment and all sorts of bulldozers and all sorts of heavy engineering equipment of a heavy engineering nature, which are used in the construction industry. But also for mining, there is lots of specialist machinery that are used. So by and large the projects tend to be much larger in scale and require a lot of capital investment. Manufacturing, well, this type of project usually involves the research and development of a product. Normally projects in manufacturing are related to some aspect of change within the company, perhaps the introduction of a new product, and once the product has been thought up and designed, then the project needs to be implemented, and that's where project management will fit in. For example, aircraft, mechanical, vehicle, or a specific product designed for a particular customer need. There are all sorts of examples. I've just given a few here, but there are all sorts of examples here where anything which is new will require a project to see that it can be produced, what's involved in it, to problem solve, and project management is essential. Good project management is essential to ensure that the project is successfully delivered. These project developments take place, generally speaking, within a factory or a good working environment. By and large, new products, when they are designed and thought about, they need to be prototyped, They need to be made and tested, and good project management skills are required to iron out all of the issues, to solve the problems, and to highlight issues that were perhaps overlooked or not anticipated in the original designs. So normally it happens within factories or within plants, engineering plants, or normally within that sort of sector these type of projects take place. The third type of project is IT projects and projects related or associated with the management of or business change. So it could be a project associated with management or of business change, or it could be indeed a project related to the management of business change. These projects are associated with a range of business activities. For example, implementing IT programs and systems. That will require project management to make sure that the right equipment is in place, training, that the resources are available in terms of disk space, operating systems, and to make sure everything works. It requires project management, specialist project managers. It could be the launch of a marketing campaign which needs to be programmed and thought about and designed. Marketing campaigns don't just happen, they have to be planned. And problems and issues have to be anticipated and solutions found even before the project is launched. Relocating a company or a new branch opening. So it could be relocating the existing plant or opening a new branch. Again, that's a project that needs to be managed. So that's why it's included as a type 3 project. Preparing for trade shows and exhibitions. Again, everything must be planned. The design of the exhibition, what's going to be shown, who will attend, what supporting literature will be made available to the public or to the attendees. So it has to be designed, thought about, planned, delivered. Internal projects which require management involvement and coordination of activities. So sometimes companies just simply want to improve some process within the plant or within the company itself, and in order to do that it needs to be planned out. What are the ripple effects? How will the change that's been proposed affect other parts of the organization? What issues could arise that could lead to failure? How much will it cost? What will the budget be? Can it be done within budget? Who will be involved? Who will champion through the change? So there are many issues to be concerned with in terms of project management within this environment. And type 4 is scientific research projects. A science project mainly designed to further explore scientific theories and to extend human knowledge. Again, it has to be planned. It has to have a starting point and an end point, and there must be a recognized methodology, a modus operandi for the whole project. How is it going to work? What is the method to be followed? Who will be involved in the project? What will their inputs be? What happens if there's a failure at some point in the project? How can it be redeemed? So scientific projects, particularly larger projects, will be managed by teams of project managers, with the senior project manager responsible for the start and end of the project to make sure that it was kicked off appropriately and it has a finish point. These projects tend to be long-term with no clear defined goals, since they are based on new discoveries. They may not achieve the expected goals. I'll just pop the cursor onto the page there and change the slide and change it to IES. Sorry about that, but I think that looks better. So sometimes projects can be very large. We think of scientific projects in management, for example, who are looking at issues which are life-threatening. The study of cancer, for example. A lot of money is raised from charitable sources and government grants and so on, but that money must be accounted for and it must be programmed, it must be spent wisely. And project managers should be involved to make sure that it's spent effectively and it starts at one point and it ends at another. They may have to go down various routes, and many of the ways in which they've gone down have unfortunately not proven successful. Doesn't mean we give up on the challenge, but it means that they need to regroup, start again and go down a different line of inquiry. So again, it's a project and it must be managed. Projects are very costly and involve high risks. Many projects are extremely costly, and the more costly they are, the more important is that they should be managed appropriately. And there should be a project manager with a good project team who will plan out all the different stages and make sure that the planning process for the project is thorough and that the outputs can be recognized and an end to the project can be determined. And the end projects simply come about when the project has succeeded or when the project has failed. Either of those will mean an end to the project. And that is the classifications put forward by Locke. The book is the Project Management, published in 2013, and it just simply sets out the 4 different classifications for projects that we've just examined. And that's all we need to deal with in this short video, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.